now that we've gotten done talking about the last match and then the next match coming up for Lazio, let's get into a little bit of the form with those would-be contenders that are sitting right around us, which is really, really close at 18 points minimum. But yeah, so Milan and Lazio won, Inter lost, and what that meant is our magic number from that went from 11 to 9. So for the first time, I've been waiting on it for us to drop two magic numbers. So now we're sitting at 9, and Roma lost to Cremonese. Also, they gave Cremonese their first Serie A victory. So I know that Jose Mourinho is not very happy about that, and I think I saw something out there where he said some bullshit like he was going to sue one of the referees. But anyway, yeah.
Never
So we're sitting
changed.
at magic number. Yeah, I think there's something out there like that. So we're sitting at magic number 9 now, and that's just getting, just making things a lot more exciting. And then the other thing that we started this last week was the Napoli Nation 11, which is like a dream team of the ADL era players to put together so that we can come up with that Napoli Nation 11. And we've selected the first three players. And I'm just curious. We haven't even talked about this yet. I'm just curious about who you voted for. So let's talk about goalkeeper first. Who did you vote for as goalkeeper?
Merit, I feel like he was the total package compared to the other goalkeepers that were in there. For sure, Merit.
You're saying Medet's the total package?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yep.
Like he can play well with his feet? He makes good passes?
His passes are fine. He doesn't make good long balls, but his passes are fine.
Hmm. Okay. Well, I voted for Reina, and I think Reina is the total package. I think that Merit is a much better shot stopper than both Ospina and Reina. Um, and I think Ospina is a much better passer than both of them. But I do think that Reina actually is the total package because he's a good shot stopper. He can pass the ball well. But the other thing about Reina that I really, really like is his ability to lead and how vocal he is out on the pitch. Um, so yeah, you saw how how close the vote was, right? Like that's going to be the one position that I think is going to have the closest voting for any position. What do you think? Do you think we'll have another position where it's really, really close, at least between
Probably. I
three
wouldn't doubt
players?
it. Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. Like on the left wing, midfield somewhere, striker position too. Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it.
Mm. Who did you vote for as right back?
Di Lorenzo, and then center back, I did Koulibaly.
Di Lorenzo and Koulibaly. Do
Mm-hmm.
you think anybody in their right mind would not vote for Koulibaly as the first center back to make sure he's on that dream team?
Yeah, just the newer fans. They just don't get it. That's all. They just witnessed Napoli this season alone. They don't really understand Koulibaly's what he's done for Napoli in the past 5-6 years. They're just looking at his Chelsea debut and how he hasn't been that good for them. But Koulibaly was a monster for us. So consistent too in both the UCL, Europa, and domestic league. He did it all for us. I understand Kim is having a crazy season. Mind you, it's his first season with us, but Koulibaly was just that guy.
Do you think that when we do the second center back voting, obviously players like Kim are going to be in that vote, right? Do you
Right.
think that so there was a few that voted for Albiol, to be honest, and I think that the partnership that Albiol and Koulibaly had was pretty special. Do you think that there's going to be people that voted for Koulibaly and then will vote for Albiol, or do you think Kim is going to get that second center back position in a runaway?
Oh no, Kim's gonna get it in a runaway, but there's gonna be people that vote for Albiol just because of at least people that are old heads that have been watching Napoli for more than 1 year now. They understand that connection between Albiol and Koulibaly and how Albiol helped Koulibaly grow to what he is today. Well, not with Chelsea, but with Napoli. You would understand that Albiol was a great factor to our defensive piece or our defensive side whenever Koulibaly was a lot younger and not as experienced. I would still go Kim though, just because Kim just displays so much more than Albiol. Albiol was a very consistent defender, but Kim is also very consistent and just shows me a lot more attacking ability, more possession with the ball, a lot more ball control. Passing ability is crazy. You could say he's one of the best passers on our team, and he's on the back line. Yeah, so I'm gonna go Kim for sure. I think he'll win it, not by a landslide, but by a pretty good margin, maybe like at 60% around there.
Just imagine him and Koulibaly playing together in that back line, man.
It'd be
Woo.
crazy. All you can do is imagine because he's not coming back.
Oh my God, it'd just be amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
the only thing that I could imagine that would maybe make the like I remember when Napoli signed Manolas and we all expected that tandem to be one of the best in Europe and
No,
it never matured to that. But
no.
Manolas, he ain't the same dude as Kim, man. Manolas ain't got the mentality. He doesn't even have the ability. But what about D'Lo? So did you have any thought about voting for Maggio instead of D'Lo for that right back position?
No, Majo did provide a lot for us. He was up and down that right side. He was more considered like almost like a right wing or RWB in my opinion, right? But Di Lorenzo's our capitano. He has a lot more starts for Italia than Maggio. You can just tell he's a much complete defender than Maggio. But Maggio was awesome. Don't get me wrong. Especially like in our early days. He played a lot of Cazzisma Grinta, all that jazz. You just love to see him play. But talent and skill set, nah, I'm gonna go Di Lorenzo overall for sure.
Yeah, the one thing that I remember about Maggio is just how he would streak down the right hand side. Hence his nickname Superbike. I loved watching him just make those long strides, and he
Hmm.
would blow by dudes, man. I mean, I think if him and Poshol Lavezzi actually had a race during practice, I think Maggio would give Pocho a run for his money.
I was
He
just
was
saying that
fast, man.
that Maggio's always on that right side going up and down. But mind you, Di Lorenzo is too. Not as often, but he's up there a lot too. I mean, he scored 2 goals on that right side of that box from an assist from 2 of our players. So it just shows you that he's definitely up there attacking as well. So
Yeah.
sorry about that. He's
Yeah, and
definitely up there
then
too.
yeah, man. And the thing about D'Lo is that he has that keen ability to move into the middle of the field and almost be like another one of our midfielders. And Maggio didn't really do that. Maggio
Mhm.
stayed on, or not Maggio, I just said your name. Maggio stays on that flank, but man, the pressure that he would put on those defenders was crazy.
Yeah. Hmm.
All right, and then we will put out the next poll for the second center back sometime after the Lazio match. And like we already mentioned before, of course, Kim is going to be in that poll. And then we'll put 3 other players in there to be announced. Um, Now, where do you think Napoli is going to clinch the Scudetto now after this last match day? What is your opinion? What would you prefer? Where do you think it's going to happen? Now, have you seen the new
I
graph
don't
out
know.
there that
Yeah, I
like
don't
uses all
honestly.
the
It's getting way.
mathematician graph that says
Yeah,
where it's going to be?
it's getting way too complicated for me. Way too complicated. I'm just gonna go with Forza Napoli sempre. We're gonna win the Scudetto this season. Let's fucking go. I'm not worried about clinching shit no more. We're gonna get it. I'm not doing no math in my head. I already suck at it in real life. Fuck that. I'm gonna go with Napoli win by like a 20 plus margin in the end. We're gonna beat Juventus' record as well. Um, yeah, Forza Napoli, man. The Scudetto's ours, man. It's coming. It's coming home.
I think I saw somewhere out there where the biggest margin of victory between like first and second was 22 points, if I remember that right. Man, they definitely can get that record. I think that record is more
Yeah,
attainable
yeah, yeah,
than the
for
102
sure.
points to break Juve's record, but they can go for both, man.
Yeah. I might have to come out there early May or something instead of late May, because it's definitely gonna happen in May. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
And then the one other thing that's happened a little bit is you still got some of the pundits out there, different dudes on media and all that are still giving us a little bit of disrespect for the Champions League, just talking about the fact that Napoli doesn't have the quality they need or the experience to really go far in the Champions League. What do you have to say about that?
I mean, experience, yeah, they make a point with that, but quality. Where do we lack quality at? Our defense is top three, top five in the world. Our attack is top three easily in the world. Our midfield is top five in the world. We have depth at all positions. You could say that defense is our worst depth, but even then, we have Oliveira to come in from Adeoye in Champions League. We have Juan Jesus, who's an experienced defender, who's not bad at all. I don't know. I don't think we lack any quality at all. No. One can say we have too much quality. I mean,
And one thing that one of the hostesses said, I think it was on CBS, mentioned, but the fact that they don't have the experience means that they're playing with less pressure, and that could be considered an advantage. And I have to agree with that. They don't have any pressure to win the
they have nothing to
Champions League,
lose. They have
to
nothing to
get to
lose.
the semifinal. There is pressure to get to the quarterfinal, but that's going to happen. But to get to the semifinal, no matter who they play in the next round, it's not like there's going to be immense pressure on them to make sure they get to the semifinal, right? So I think it's an advantage. I think they're going to be going into the each round, and they're going to have less pressure than the opposition, more than likely. And you know, for a back of letter word, naive. They're gonna be a little naive, and they're just gonna play to win. They're just gonna have fun. I mean, whew, man, you got to make sure that you're here when they play that Champions League final in Turkey in Istanbul, because I think Napoli has a really good shot. I really do, and I'm not gonna say it's annoying me, but maybe they could just find something else to talk about if they don't want to actually say that Napoli has a chance to get to that final, because they absolutely do.
Anybody
And
with any
one,
soccer IQ knows that they have a chance to get to that final. If you've been watching Napoli play this season,
I
you,
mean,
you would understand.
there's a good chance that some of the dudes on media and all that are just they're talking
Oh,
about
there's
that
always going to be people
because,
that think different, of course, but to say they have
well, I
no
mean,
chance is ridiculous. It's
yeah,
idiotic, to
but
say the least.
to me, it's almost hating. I
Yeah,
mean, how
there's
can you
it's just
say
hate.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I think so too. Um, and then the one other thing that was in the papers this week was a possible contract extension for K Town, that would happen during the summer, and they're talking about his salary being doubled, which would make it right around 2.5. And I think I saw that he would get an extension out to 2028.
Wow.
So I put a poll out there and I asked the question whether Napoli Nation out there considers that to be a fair amount or not, whether it's too much, it's not enough, or if they thought it was right where it needed to be. And the last time I looked at it, it was sitting right at about 50-50, that it was fair or it wasn't enough. What do you think about 2.5 for a first year player, right? This is his first year. What do you think about him getting a contract extension that's about double of what he's making now? Do you think that that's fair? Do you think it should be a little bit less, or do you think maybe he should just play another year to see where he really is in his second year? Where do you think he sits in his value and what he deserves for his salary right now? Like if he was to get the extension in the summer.
Well, let's make a comparison here with Osimhen. Osimhen is valued around 100, 250 million, right? And he deserves an annual salary of what we were saying, around 7.5 to 8 million. He's played 3 seasons for us. He's played a total of about 6, 7 in his career. Kvara has played about 5 total seasons in his career, one with us, obviously brand new, but he's already valued around 120 million. So 2.5 million is too little. I'm not saying that giving that to him is gonna make him leave. I think he'll still stay if he gets that raise. But I feel like if you give him a bigger raise early on in his career, it will make him, kind of like, happier per se, make him want to stay. The fact that we see so much confidence in him already. I mean, the whole world believes in this freaking guy, man. So what I think is a fair price is maybe like 3.5 with some bonuses. But yeah, 3.5 and some bonuses, I think would be fair for Kvara. And
Yeah,
then you
and
could always reconstruct it, give him more the
yeah,
next season, something like that.
yeah. and you talking a little bit about Osimhen and how many years he's been with Napoli in his career. You know, Osimhen's played in France and Germany before
Right.
he came to Napoli. So
Right.
he's used to playing he's played in the bigger leagues longer than Kvara. This is brand new to Kvara, and he's
Right.
killing it. I mean, if he was
Against
to
big teams
keep
too in
playing,
UCL, Serie A, he's killing it
yep,
everywhere.
yep. Dude, man, if he was to continue playing this way for however long, he is going to be a Ballon d'Or candidate. If
Easily,
Napoli's winning
yeah, because
Scudetto, if they're getting far in Champions League, I agree. I don't think 2.5 is quite enough. I think when you have players on the team like Chucky Lozano that's getting 4.5, and he got that right at the get go. He
mhm,
was signed for Napoli. He came from a lower tier league. He wasn't in one of the big leagues, came from PSV to Napoli, and he got 4.5 right away. If you're in Cavada's shoes and you're thinking about what's fair and what's not, and you may be thinking about contracts like Lozano got as soon as he came to Napoli.
yep, for sure.
I think I think that 4 million per he couldn't complain about. Like he
No,
should sign the
definitely not.
dotted line right away. And I think that if you do that with him, that he's gonna he's gonna feel like he's respected the way that we want a player that wants to stay for the longer term to be respected. So
Exactly,
I'm
right.
hoping that he gets closer to 4. Now, the season's not over. If for some reason his form just takes a dive, which is not going to happen, that's the only thing that would make me hesitate to give him about 4 million per. And like you said, bonuses, I mean, they could do what you say and give him what you said, 3.5
Yeah.
with some bonuses. They could do that and just say, hey, if you continue this like you are this year, if you get this many assists or this many goals, or if
Mind
Napoli,
you, if he was doing this for years now, we'd be talking about 10 plus a year, right? But this is his first year in a good league. So yeah.
and you look at his value, the last time I saw what his value was,
120.
it was commonly referred to as no, his transfer value was commonly referred to as
Wow.
70 million.
Huh.
We bought him for what, 10?
10. Yeah.
So, I mean, just to think about it in simple math terms, right? Which is not really the best way. But anyway, if we bought him for 10 and he's worth 7, give him a contract extension that's 7 times the amount. I'm just kidding.
That's
I'm just
right.
kidding. That would make it 7 million. But yeah, I
Yeah.
do think that 2.5 is, I wouldn't say it's lowballing, but I do think that something closer to
He deserves
4 or
more.
3, 3.5 with bonuses would be better.
Yeah.
And then, there hasn't really been a lot of rumors about it, but I have heard a couple people talk about the fact that maybe Chucky Lozano actually gets an extension, but that, you know, maybe it means that he's going to have to take a little bit of a pay cut. I think we touched on this a little bit. Do you still feel the same that he's just going to say, no, thank you, I'll go somewhere else where I'm actually going to get paid more than what you're giving me
Um,
instead of taking a pay cut?
like I said, he really cares about playing time more than anything. I believe. If he's still doing this 50-50 shit with Politano, he's not going to stay with us. He's getting 4.5 a season. If he gets maybe like 3.5, I think he'll think about staying. Maybe. I don't know though. I don't know. I
I
feel
mean,
like he
maybe
wants a fresh start. That's just me. I just feel like he wants it.
maybe a pay cut, like a small pay cut with crazy bonuses or something. Like, I could see him
He
buying
performs.
a
Okay.
4 million with bonuses that will get him near 6, that are something like if you get 10 goals and 10 assists, or if you start 80% of the games, or something like that, where it shows him that we think you can do this and we're willing to give you bonuses if you do it. I
Yeah,
mean,
you just
that
gotta
could be a
show us.
possibility too. That could be a
Sure.
possibility too. And I think we mentioned it already that if both Chucky and Politano leave, we have to get 2 other right wingers.
Yeah.
So keeping one of them is probably the smarter move.
Right.
And who in their right mind would keep Politano? So
Spalletti.
I
That's his
mean,
boy.
I don't think so, man. I don't think so anymore, man. I
Mm.
mean, even though he coached him in Inter, I don't think that Spalletti really considers Politano his boy anymore. But we'll see. We'll see what happens there. All right, well, Napoli Nation, that's going to do it for this week's episodes. Forza
Napoli, sempre.
sempre. Ciao.